Hey y'all, it's Demented Caliber here, dipping out on some Grizzly Long Cut Dark Mint. So before I get into the actual topic of this video, I want to go ahead and give some shout outs. The first shout out goes to my brother Real Outlaw 89. The second shout out goes to my other brother NH Dippa. And the third shout out goes to my vaping brother Ohio Vapor. Shout outs to you guys and Real Outlaw 89. I can't wait to see what Project Black Geo becomes, because I know that's going to be your project car. And if I remember correctly, this is your first car too. So it's pretty awesome, man. Got a decent car there. I wish they had fucking Geo Prism into Forza Horizon 3. So I could probably do some crazy shit to that car. But let's get into the topic of this video, shall we? Oh wait, I forgot one thing. If today is your birthday, I wish you a happy birthday. I hope you get everything you want, whether it be a new Xbox One game or a PS4 game or even a brand new shiny Precision Turbo, or even a Garrett Turbo. I think Garrett's a Turbo. Let's see, shall we? Google to the rescue. Or even a Supercharger. Yep, Garrett is a Turbo company. There we go. Or a Turbo brand. I always see people talk about Garrett or Precision Turbos. You don't really hear too much on the Supercharger side of the spectrum, but yeah, so let's get into the topic of this video now. I'm here to talk about cars, and this comes from a video that I watched, 6 cars you should never LSV8 swap. And I'm not here to talk about the videos. I'm here to talk about the comment section, or at least 2 comments that I came across. The first one is a good outlook on swapping, like motor swapping your cars. And this person had said, well, who are you guys to tell people what they can and cannot do to their car? And that's a very good standpoint to look on. So shout outs to you, man. You have a really good outlook. And I just seen a lot of JDM fanboys and JDM idiots, wannabe car enthusiasts, just grilling him for saying that, but it's true. That'd be like me buying a used Mustang with a V6 in it, ripping that V6 out, going to put an LS in it, and have a Mustang fanboy tell me, oh, well, you can't do that, and I'm not going to let you do this. Like, who the fuck are you to stop me? I bought the car. I bought the motor. My name's on the title of the car. Yeah, I think I can do that. So, don't tell people what they can and cannot do with their cars. Simple as that. Alright, so, this next comment I'm going to talk about is actually more of a reply to a comment, but I had a few exchanging of words. I didn't call the person name or anything like that, but I was trying to get in their head and see why they think this way. And I'll go ahead and read the comments to you. Let me just I gotta do all kinds of shit. So like, when I'm on this page right here, I literally have to press my little picture and it'll bring me up to my notifications menu to select my notifications. Alright. So the original comment that this person was replying to was like, for the 86, what about Ryan Turax? Sorry if I misspelled that. Ferrari V8 swapped 86. So this person replies, goes, I don't mind the V8 in the GT86, but please not the LS motor. And he also says some other things, but we're just here to focus on his reasoning on why he hates the LS motor. So go, what's wrong with an LS motor? It's cheap and makes decent power with a few bolt-on parts. And this is their reply. It gets very interesting. They suck with taking boosts. I've seen too many LS motors blowing up. Alright, let's analyze that comment real quick. You've seen too many LS motors, or motor, blowing up. I don't believe that, because if you've seen a lot of LS motors blowing up, you think they would actually have a recall on the LS motors, and the LS motors would not be being produced anymore. It's sort of the same notion with Chrysler Sebrings 2.7 liter V6. Was it V6? Their 2.7 liter motor, where it had like a lot of engine failure. That motor was recalled from the market. It's no longer being produced. So you think the same thing would happen with the LS motors from Chevy if they had that problem. So it's like, alright. And this is what he also replied to me after he said what he said about LS motors blowing up. He goes, also, there's no way it's cheaper to build LS to get the same brake horsepower. You need a lot more parts. Okay, so let's just stop right there real quick. Brake horsepower. The LS crate engine. We're talking about. I was talking about crate engines the entire time. I wasn't talking about ones that already came in like cars and shit. I'm talking about the ones you can order directly from the factory for a motor swap. The cheapest I've seen with a decent brake horsepower from the factory, with a decent, not like really shitty, is 550 brake horsepower at the crank. That's really all you fucking need for a car that probably only weighs about 1,500 pounds, give or take. So, with that being said, that's also blown out of the water. Because most LS crate engines that you get for around $5,000 to $9,000 come anywhere between 500 to 750 horsepower from the factory at the crank. So, and I don't understand it. Like, everybody's like, oh, brake horsepower this, brake horsepower that. No. The best way to measure a car is not by its brake horsepower at the crank. It's brake horsepower at the wheels. That's the best way to get an average number. Because if you think about it, your horsepower at the crank is going to be a lot more than your horsepower at the wheels. The reason for that being is because you have a lot of gears and you got a lot of gear reduction. You have a long shaft that your power has to transfer through to get to the actual rear differential. Simple as that. Now, if you're a car enthusiast or you're a mechanic, feel free to correct me on some things that I may mess up. Because I'm not heavily into cars like most people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me a little 69 Charger. And, like, really nice cars. But other than that, I don't really fiddle around with cars too much. Unless it's like the interior of the car, like car stereos and so on and so forth. So, this is what I said. I said I've yet to see an LS motor blow up. And with that being said, if it did blow up, it was most likely because the owner was running too much boost. This is his reply. Precisely, and the explosion is so huge that the whole front of the car gets ripped off. Okay, well, if the whole front of the car gets ripped off, wouldn't it also like blow some shit off the engine and slinging it into the firewall, potentially killing the driver? Because if that's the case, this goes back to what I said earlier. That motor would be recalled and it would no longer be produced. As simple as that. And this is what I told him. I said, blame the owner, not the engine. And he had no response to that, so this is what he says. The LS engine was not built for boosting. To make it turbo supercharged, a lot of strengthening is needed to be done on the engine. The RB and JZ can easily break 1,000 brake horsepower, and I see LS blowing up at 850 horsepower. That's why the motor in the Hennessy Venom is 1,200 horsepower. It's a 7-liter LSX. Now, granted, I mean, with any stock motor or even any crate engine, you are going to have to change out manifolds. You're going to have to change out valve covers. You're going to have to change out pretty much everything on the engine. But as far as that goes, like, really? And I sent him a link, and we'll get to that here in a second. I'll tell you about the link that I sent him. I said, look up a twin-turbo LS and get back to me. And the link I sent him was actually to a video of a Supra with a TJZ blowing up on a drag strip. So it seems to me, and this is the vibe or the signal I'm getting off of him, is like he's making it out to be like, oh well, TJZs don't blow up, when in reality they do. I've seen two JZs blow up in YouTube videos. One guy was trying to race a fucking street bike, and the other guy was on a drag strip doing a drag race, and fucking just blew up on him. So, simple as that. And this is fucking where he lost me. He goes, yeah, I saw the Camaro with 2,000 brake horsepower. A lot of work is done on the engine. The parts list is easily as much as building the VR38DE TT 2200 brake horsepower engine. He lost me on the fucking the code number for whatever engine he's actually talking about. So let's see. Let's see. We'll go ahead and Google this real quick. Oh, I think that's the motor from the R35, the GTR, the new GTR. And again, I don't understand it. It seems like whenever you argue with somebody who is a JDM fanboy, if that's what you want to call it, their resorts are to the Supra, the Skyline, or the new GTR, the R35. I don't fucking understand it. Like, I'm sitting here talking about the LS motor, and yes, the LS is an iconic for American muscle. But I'm talking about motor swaps and so on. But they always try to compare a inline 6 or a V6 to a V8, when in reality they're two totally different ball games. So I don't understand it. And a lot of people don't understand this, is like a V8 swap or even any type of motor swap is going to be cheaper than trying to rebuild an engine that's shot to be on hell. I mean, you get a motor that's has the pistons blown out of the bottom of the crankcase, and you have seals that are bad. You have the warped head, or the cylinder heads are pretty much cracked. You have a warped block. It's just, it takes too much machine work and time and effort to get that motor back to where it was, and then you have to hone out the cylinder walls, and basically bore every single cylinder hole, and it takes too much time. That's why a lot of people go for the LS swap, because like I said, you can get decent power for half the cost of what it costs to rebuild an engine. As simple as that. And this guy, I don't know how old he is. I'm assuming he's a kid, because like his grammar, it's not all there. I don't fault him for that, because he might live in a third world country, or he, like I said, he might just be a kid. But he did post one comment saying, like, if one of his friends ever LS swapped like a fucking Skyline or something, he says that's an instant unfriend. And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's kind of self-centered if you ask me, because you want your friends to bow down and do everything that you want them to do. If you want them to keep the stock motor and they don't do that, you're going to unfriend them or not be friends with them anymore? That's not the way to go. And that's kind of stupid, to be honest. Like on Forza Horizon 2, I had this one person get pissed off at me because I put a V12 in a 2005 Ford GT, and he called me a bitch for it and whatnot. And it's like, one, it's a fucking game. Two, it doesn't really fucking matter what I do to the car. because it's not like I really own it. And even if I did really own it in real life, I would still put a V12 in it just to be different. It's as simple as that. Now, I know LS swapping like Miatas, S2000s, RX-7s and all that, I know that's like a popular thing, and it's not really being different, but there's really no limits to what you can do to a car if you have the skills necessary to do it. So if you want to put like a, I seen somebody made an, I think it's an LS V12, and they put it in a Camaro. I mean, if you got the resources and the skills to do that type of modification, then by all means do it. Don't listen to what everybody else says. That's the whole point of this video. This guy right here, whether it be a kid or a grown-ass adult, he's wake up and realize that nobody's going to bow down to them and do what they say. Simple as that. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe to my buddies. This is the Minty Caliber, signing out.